Welcome to Central Colleges of the Philippines. I'm Miss Jabel C. Risuelio. I'm the one handling the College of Arts and Sciences, specifically for the Department of Psychology, and also welcome to the Introduction to Psychology. So let's discover psychology. Why many of us are actually interested in studying psychology and what psychology can do in our everyday life. So I'm going to walk you through what psychology is all about and the practical ways on how psychology helps us in our everyday life. Moving forward, what do psychologists study? So let's first define psychology. Psychology is the systematic, scientific study of behaviors and mental processes. So therefore, there are two concepts that you need to remember: behaviors and mental processes. So when we talked about behavior, refers to observable actions, responses in both humans and animals. So if I'm talking right now, if I'm moving my hand just like this, if you're eating right now, if you're eating right now while listening to my lecture or listening to this discussion, therefore, since it is observable, that's considered behaviors. But if we're going to go deep dive, there are two categories of behaviors. It could be covert or overt. So when we talked about overt, that means it is observable, just like walking, talking, eating, jogging. Those are examples, and many more. When we talked about mental processes, this is what we call the covert. Covert. It's covert because it's not directly observable. So it refers to the wide range of complex mental processes wherein you would see or you would study the cognitive functions, such as thinking, reasoning, imagining, studying, and dreaming. So if you're listening to me right now and you're actually encoding the messages that I am conveying right now, and you're digesting that, therefore, that is what we call mental processes. Another one, how you put interpretation, how you put meaning to things, how you respond covertly to a certain stimuli, that's considered mental processes. Okay, so let's go. Let's go over, okay, what are actually the practical ways or the application of psychology to everyday life. So why do we need to study psychology? Even though you are not actually in the field of psychology. I mean, you are not taking psychology program because across professions, psychology is applicable. Okay, there you go. Okay, one practical way or one applications of psychology in everyday life is improving our communication skills. Okay, so psychology makes it easier to understand how humans think and behave while communicating with others. If you can understand what messages is actually trying to convey or a person's trying to convey to you, then therefore it improves communication. Just like I mentioned to you, psychology is all about understanding yourself and understanding others. If you can understand others, then therefore you can easily communicate to them. And part of one topics that you can encounter in psychology is actually studying body language or gestures. So if you would know how to decipher or decode a certain gesture, then you would know, okay, what is that gesture trying to convey? So it helps to improve communication skills there. And if the communication skills are actually intact, then therefore, what's next? It builds a good relationship. So as we already know, psychology is the study of mind and behavior. Psychology plays a major role in understanding human actions, thereby fostering relationship. Actually, you can apply psychology inside of your house, inside of the office, whatever place you are at the moment. So again, if you understand one of the members of your family, you would know where is that person coming from. You understand the purpose of the behavior. You know how the person provide reasons in everything that she or he is doing. Then therefore, you can actually build an harmonious relationship. So, meron nga silang tinatawag na agree to disagree. Why do you need to agree to disagree? Why? Because you understand where the person coming from. And it lessens the conflict, okay, between each other there. Next, enriching careers. So if you would like to win a certain interview, psychology helps people to understand and establish friendships and relationships, just like I mentioned to you a while ago. So people having a psychological idea, okay, if you are having a vast knowledge about psychology, you would stand a better chance to build friendships with their coworkers. And according actually to the book that I am reading, according to the research, most of the institutions um, and also companies right now, they're looking for a person that is actually a team player, know how to do a good decisions inside the company, or yeah, whatever institution that you are looking at. So there you go. So it's a advantage for you to know psychology there. And the next one is instill self-confidence. So one can gain self-confidence by learning and knowing more about oneself and their personality, which is part of the discussion in psychology, is knowing your personality and assessing your personality. So this helps the person to know his or her weaknesses and enables them to build on them. So going back to what I said, psychology is all about understanding you and understanding other people. It's so hard to understand other people if you cannot understand yourself. And if you know who you are, this is not just about knowing who you are, but accepting who you are, okay, and improving yourself to become a better person, and therefore it will make you more successful. Okay, I think we can discuss this one more once we go to the deeper discussion here in psychology. So there. Next, the last one. But there are a lot of applications that we will going to encounter as we will continue our discussion for in psychology in the near future. So the last one here is one can gain insight into people's behavior. Psychology tells us about all aspects of human behavior. It is not only tells us about human or general human characteristics, but also points out differences in their behavior. So clinical psychology, if you're focusing on clinical psychology, this helps to gain insights into other people's behavior. So as I go back to what I discussed to you a while ago, psychology is all about understanding you and understanding other people. Why? Um, in psychology, you cannot give what you do not have. So for you to be able to understand other people, psychology will help you first understand yourself. And if you understand where the person coming from, then therefore you have you have actually wisdom or insight on how people behave. So if you know why people behave like that, you have a greater understanding what's the purpose of that specific behavior, and then therefore you can actually relate to them. There you go. Just like I told you, there are a lot of practical ways to use or utilizing psychology, like in marketing, business, advertisement, okay, everything that involves other people. You can actually use psychology. So there, I hope that this lecture helped you a lot. Thank you so much for listening.